All right, I'll call the meeting to order. It's 5:33. Today we're going to have Brenda is going to do our land acknowledgement. Sorry, Brenda.
Before I step.
Sorry.
Right. Ganesh Chish, to the Tlingit Haida and Tsimshian people, we respectfully acknowledge them as the original inhabitants of Southeast Alaska. Our regional hospital is located on the homelands of the Occoquan. We're grateful to provide services in your ancestral homeland and to be a part of the community.
Thank you, Brenda. Anita, can you do a roll call?
Shelley Gearing, present. Dr. Raster,
Here.
Lisa Peterson. Here. Al Geiger,
Present.
Dr. Jones.
Here.
Brenda Knapp. Here. Max Mertz. Absent. Deb Johnston. Here. And Denise Gross.
Here.
And we also have Dr. Rosenfeld.
All right. Thank you. And can I ask for approval of the agenda? So I'll make a motion.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Brenda seconds it. Thank you. And do we have anybody from the public that would like to speak today? No one online? All right, seeing no public participation. So I just want to take a second and say that we had our interviews, board interviews for new board members this past week. And both Lisa and I were up and we were both reappointed. I did my interview in Las Vegas in a car in a parking lot, so it was fun. And then our newest board member is James Cohen, and he's back there. So we're gonna all get to meet him. So make sure everybody maybe on a break or something comes in and says hi to James. And we're really glad to have him joining us. He's got lots of clinical experience and experience in the healthcare field in Juneau and outside of Juneau too. So he's been here at least 40 years. I think him and I talked, and I'm excited to work with him and for us to get to know him. So please make sure you do that. And we'll talk a little bit later on, but today is going to be Miss Knapp's last meeting. And it's a bittersweet, so we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. With that, we're going to go on to the consent agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion to
All
approve.
right, Shelley, is that? I'll second that. I'll second that. All right. And then old business, we'll go right to Kim, and Kim can give us an update on what's going on in hospital capacity.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Currently, we don't have any COVID patients in Bartlett. We do unfortunately have a report. And we have 3 employees out with COVID. For the month of November, CCU had, as far as patient days, 50, Med-Surg had 451, OB 792, nursery 101, MHU 133. We currently have 6 on the unit now. And ED saw 848 patients. We currently do not have any patients in our crisis services, although we did do a soft opening on the 18th. And there's 5 in RRC. And I will let Kim Stout give you the census for Wildfire Court when she gives her report. And there's no issues with supply chain. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Kim. Does anybody have any questions for Kim? Great, thank you very much.
Promedio de 270, les fue bien. Shrek tirando la tercera.
Sorry about that.
I was going to have to get my Spanish skills up to answer that question. I wasn't quite sure.
So seeing no questions for Kim, we'll move on to new business. So the board we tasked our governance committee, Lisa, and along with CBJ Law and our CEO Ian, to work on some recommendations. The recommendations are in your packet. I hope everybody got a chance to read them. They're up on the screen too. They're also in your packet as well. I want to thank everybody that worked on it. I want to thank you, Lisa, so much for the time and effort that you spent on this and working on this. And the floor is open for some questions and comments about it.
Mr. Chairman, as I look through it, there is some inconsistency in how nouns are capitalized. And so I'd like to ask this, I know this is going to be here as a motion because it came out of committee, but I'd like to move that the capitalization of the nouns be fixed so that proper nouns are capitalized and common nouns are not. That makes sense.
No objection.
Anybody have any other questions or comments about that? And before we go on to the content, any content issues at all?
I did not.
So we have this done. Again, I want to thank Lisa. We have a motion at the bottom. And Dr. Jones, you want to make the motion?
I move we approve these governance policies.
So Dr. Jones moves that the Board of Directors of Bartlett Regional Hospital approve the six recommendations as presented regarding board members' conflict of interest, fiduciary responsibility, code of conduct, and roles of responsibility. Have a second?
I'll second that, but again, I want to be sure that it's clear that I'm subject to minor editorial adjustment.
And in this, thank you, was subject to some minor capitalization, editorial, things like that. Seconded. Any questions, comments, concerns? Lisa, again, thank you very much. This motion's passed. We'll go to Dr. Rosenfeld.
All right. I have a couple new items that came out of the med staff meeting. First, this will be my last meeting as chief of staff, so my term is up. And we'll be having the famous Dr. Alex Malter, who will be stepping in as chief of staff as I go up to former chief of staff. Also, we elected a new vice chief of staff, so it's kind of a chief of staff elect, which will be Dr. Luke Mather from Valley Medicine. He's very excited and enthusiastic about the job. We also have Dr. Roth is retiring at the end of this year. He's been a physician in Juneau for over 20 years, has delivered several babies, probably family members of people in this room. So we are sad to see him go, but are very thankful for his 20 years of work in this community. I just wanted to say, as coming out of being chief of staff, it was a really fun and engaging learning experience. So it was interesting to see how the board works, how the administration works, and to work with the medical staff. And I hope to continue to work with Dr. Malter and Dr. Mathers to make Juneau the best we can make it. And last bit of business is we had discussed, we made some minor changes to the initial application fee policy. So that's an action item. Nothing of significant substance was changed in this, just some grammar changes and cleaning up the language a little bit. And that went through med exec into med staff and recommended approval by the board.
Thank you, Dr. Rosenfeld. Everybody get a chance to read this? Get a motion?
I move the Board of Directors of Bartlett Regional Hospital approve the amended initial application fee policy as presented.
I'll second that.
Any comments, questions? Seeing no objections, it's passed. Thank you, Dr. Rosenfeld. We'll talk to you more later too. Committee reports. Deb, I know we had a real quick planning committee, so we could.
It wasn't very quick. It was, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes, something like that. The minutes really accurately reflect what we discussed. And then we rolled right into our strategic planning full board meeting. So if anybody has any questions about the minutes, I'm happy to entertain them, but basically it was a couple of quick updates.
Anybody have any questions for Deb? Those are very good. All right, seeing no questions, we'll move right on to finance. And Max is not here today, so maybe quickly, Joe, can you speak on this real quick?
Finance Committee. So I did a quick overview of the financials, and most of what we talked about is all the projects we had going on, the stuff we're digging into, trying to understand what's driving some of the financial challenges we're seeing. So we're looking at Medicare cost report, the implications of allocations of costs and the cost-based, how it affects our cost-based reimbursement on the inpatient unit. So we have engaged two different companies. There's Bradley and Associates and Dingus Zericord Associates. So they're going to look back at our last three cost reports and make recommendations. And see if we could either recapture any lost reimbursement or make changes to increase future reimbursement for the Medicare program. Sorry. We're also looking at how our books are done in-house. So right now we kind of have a longer close process. I'm trying to tighten that up so I can give Ian good information timely so we can make good decisions. Just working on a lot of little things in the finance side. We also have the budget coming up. So we did a kickoff meeting with the controller today to get that rolling. So we have you guys a timely budget for in March. So, I guess answer any questions if there is any. Anybody have any questions?
Yep. And we're glad you're here.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
I just wanted to ask about financial strain that might come in the future. Is this a good time to ask about it? Because last time I had talked about the 80-20 rule, and this is just sort of a statewide thing, how Premera is sort of renegotiating rates with physicians, and there's been a lawsuit by the state, some of the state physicians, and it was in the paper. There was a negotiated contract. Did you see that with some of the Anchorage physicians? But Providence Hospital per se is going to keep their same fee structure. I don't know if you've heard anything about Premera renegotiating the rate that they're going to pay for hospital days here.
We haven't had any discussions with Premier that I'm aware of in the last, since I've been here.
Okay. And then other challenging potential news, if I may continue.
Yes, please.
The other thing we had talked about it at our last med staff is that I'm not a hospitalist, but our hospitalist reimbursement is going to be different. It's now a DRG model. I'm just looking at Dr. Malter because you may be aware of this as well. And so that may negatively impact the way that the state reimburses our hospital. Has there been any talk about that? If I may ask?
I think you got that.
I can touch on that. So what you're referring to is how they can reimburse us for our inpatient stays, not the hospitalists.
Yes.
So it doesn't affect professional fees, but everything we've looked at, so they've looked at how the DRGs are weighted. They have adjustment factors. And so the way they set it up, it should leave us minimally impacted. But until we can get up and rolling, we don't have a way to gauge the total impact until we start seeing claims out the door. So we use a product called 3M that assigns the value to those. And so once those start coming out, we'll start looking on a case-by-case basis there for probably the first 30 to 60 days. We can understand what the total impact of reimbursement will be. There's enough cases we could probably touch every single one of them and get a good handle of that. So until that starts hitting, don't have a good answer for you. Everything I've heard is it should have been cost neutral to the state, and it should have been budget neutral to us. How they put it.
What it does do is it does require the physicians to ensure that they're coding properly under this new APR DRG. And there was a training, or at least some information at the medical staff meeting where Mimi Benjamin provided that sort of information. So operationally, we need to make sure that our systems are set up, that the physicians are aware of what they need to code and those adjustments. It's a little bit different than regular DRGs, but it's not, I don't think it's going to be that difficult. It's just a matter of everyone needs to be able to understand how those adjustments affect us. So there's more to do. But we're gonna watch that very carefully. I think Joe's gonna do 1 month of the old way and 1 month of the new way and see whether.
Yeah, we'll do side by side for a while. Just so we can get a good firm understanding what controller effect is.
Okay, as of January 1, sorry. if I may.
So Medicaid reimburses per diem right now, so it's easy to do a quick calculation as to what the difference is between the two payment models. We need the cases in front of us to do that analysis.
Dr. Russ, are you going?
I was just worried that it might substantially negatively affect reimbursement to the hospital. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the first few months of 2024. Thank you.
All right, anything else from the finance committee you want to report on? Or Deb, do you have anything you want to say about the finance committee?
No, I think it was pretty straightforward, and when I reviewed the minutes, they did include all we discussed.
So we'll go on to the compliance committee. Hal?
Yes, so if you recall, we had scheduled a compliance committee meeting tomorrow. And then we were going to have some business and report to the board, but we changed our board meeting. So I had nothing really new. But if you recall, in our last episode, everybody was supposed to look at these videos, make note of them, look at these two documents. I know my form is sitting right on my desk at home. So fortunately, the form is here for you, for people like me who forgot their form at home. And so this requires, our requirement is not only that you look at these, but that you have an opportunity to ask questions. And so if there are any questions, I'd like to ask Nathan to take a crack at them, and they might be questions that even need some legal interpretation. I'll get back to them later, but this is your opportunity now to ask questions based on the material that you presumably reviewed over the last month. Are there any questions?
I just, looking at these, I just didn't quite see how we're going to be as a oversight board, how we're going to be aware of some of these things. So I guess it's just that we know that it's a possibility, but again, not going into the weeds. Some of the stuff could be there and we just don't know about.
Yeah. The documents themselves did go into a little bit more about what the questions the board should be asking. Nathan, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, so measuring effective compliance programs, I think the one of the documents is an important one that kind of goes, it's not a very easy read because it's more of an outline, but as you go through and answer those questions, those are going to be what informs kind of the risk level that we have and gets reported back to the committee and in the form of a risk assessment that also informs the work of the plan moving forward. So you can look forward to that risk assessment at our next meeting. Well, sorry, our next compliance committee meeting that is after tomorrow.
Mr. Chairman, if we're done with the topic of education, then the other topic I have is the draft plan that's in your packet. That'd be on page 33, 34. So I hope people had a chance to review this, and we would like to have the board vote to approve this. It's not perfect. There's some more work that could be done, but we're hoping this is an adequate first start. And this will be then revised again next year. Are there any questions about this or any comments, suggestions?
So you are looking for a motion to adopt this?
It was approved at the October meeting by the committee.
So this has come out of committee. There is a motion and it's been seconded. Now, is there any discussion or any objections? Shelley.
Mr. Chair, it's just a question in regards to Are the physicians considered employees for compliance training? Do they have to do the same compliance training that the regular employees who are hired do?
For the chair. So all of our physicians, whether they're, contracted or not, our vendors, everyone has to do compliance training. So through the Med Staff Services Office, we have a process that they do compliance training and it's tracked. So through their orientation process.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? All right, so seeing no objections, this draft is approved. And compliance plan.
Thank you.
Thank you. And again, too, the compliance training and attestation by everybody. So if you got a chance to watch it, please make sure you sign off on that.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Just add one thing here if I could. Yeah, I think nobody can reasonably be expected to memorize everything that's referenced here. But what's really important is knowing that these resources exist. If you have a question about Stark law or claim tax or whatever, that these resources are available that you can go to. That spending a lot of time trying to retain everything that's in them is probably not best use.
Thank you, Brenda. So we're moving right along. So we're just going to go right into our senior leadership report. Before we start, I just want to say appreciative to Ian working with his staff and speaking with me and Deb today about board materials and how we're going to receive our materials and etiquette that the management and how the board we're going to work together. So I really appreciate his insight and what he has his team proposed to do. So thank you very much, and I'll let you talk more about that. I'll turn this over to you.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, is that, obviously we understand the amount of work the board members have to do to be able to prepare for this. So one of our goals is to help make sure that the information that's presented to you not only has the nouns corrected right, but also is the right type of information that you need so you can get through this material very quickly. I spent 9 hours going through one of the board packets once, and I thought, if I'm doing this and I can get through board packets pretty quickly and financial statements really quickly, then maybe we need to improve what we're presenting to the board so that you can spend your time on the real key questions that we need to deal with in the future. Having said that, I'd like to say that on my page, I guess it's 56 of the 77, what I'm trying to do each time is start letter with a theme. This year, the theme, or this meeting, the theme really is gratitude. I just wanted to say how grateful I am to the organization. And one of the things I'm grateful for is the CARE values, right? The courtesy, the accountability, the respect, and the excellence. Those provide us with direction. And we can measure our behaviors, whether or not we're living up to those or not. So that's really fundamental. Also, the amount of time and effort and talent that you put in as you're being a board member. We're really grateful to how much you help us, as well as serve your fellow neighbors and community. It's really important. We're very grateful for that. I couldn't run a hospital without being grateful for clinicians. They do take care of the patients. They're in service to the patients. So our leadership has to be in service to them. But we're very grateful. They put a significant amount of time in their education, to be able to do that. And we are so grateful, from nurses, PTs, OTs to physicians, how much they do for our community and the people. Finally, it's important to recognize all employees work together in service for our patients. So a janitor is very important to the cleanliness of the hospital and the rooms. Food service is very important, to not only to the people that work there, but we want to make sure that everyone who works here understands that they have a key role in serving the clinicians that are serving our patients. That's what's most important. And by doing that, they're making Juneau a healthier place and a better place to raise families and age in. Having said that, I want to say special thanks to Aaron for helping me write my holiday letter to people. That theme is the same theme that you'll see in the board. So as I go through, I'm going to be mimicking the theme at the board level with that of the employee. So I told her the theme for January will be resolutions, New Year resolutions, or they may or may not be. So we'll have a little bit of fun with it. Having said that, I just wanted to point out one or two more things, maybe not your board packet, but our new news. We have signed a contract with Dr. Hope. She's an OB oncologist. What's so key about this is that when I talked to Dr. Hope, I asked her, is there different cancers or women having different cancers up here in Alaska than down when I'm used to? And she goes, no, they're not, but they're presenting later. And as a result, their cancers can be more difficult to serve. So this provides a really important service within our community. Not only for cancers do you need, the three, you need radon, you need med-onc, you need surgical services. So this provides a great service to the women of our community that might need those services. So we're very happy that she's coming on. And then, as you know, we'll be going through a legal RFP. It's been wonderful to work with Rob Palmer. We'll probably have this in his update later on, but we're going through that and we'll try and get that done. Hopefully either January or no later than February. So a lot going on, but I'm very grateful to all of you for everything that you've done and all the support I've received. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Are there any questions?
Questions for him? I look forward to these themes.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. Thank you. Kim Stout.
Thank you. My report will be quite brief tonight as well. For the month of November, home health and hospice continue to wait on a survey and or receipt of their provider number so that we can begin billing for those services. Per my previous report, hospice has been through their survey. We're just waiting on that provider number to come in so we can begin billing and working hard to grow that service line. Home health, however, we have still not been surveyed. We're just sitting and waiting on that survey to take place. We did have 13 patients on service at the time that I submitted my report for home health, and we had 6 on hospice at that time. We're staffed for both of those facilities, and they're functioning quite well at this time. Wildflower Court, as you can see on the report I submitted, our average daily census has continued to rise since Bartlett has taken over. However, as of today, our census is 47. Little input into that is we are still highly staffed with travelers, and travelers contracts have been ending, and it's really hard to find travelers that want to come in during Christmas time and begin a new contract. So our staffing's been a little lower right now, and we've had to watch our admissions at this point in time. We should be getting travelers in anytime. I know that HR has worked really hard to help us get some more in. And we have hired actually 3 RNs within the past few months. So that's kind of exciting news to get some RNs. Wildflower Court, we do have, this week we have had 4 positive COVIDs and in our facility, and 1 positive influenza A. We have implemented stringent policies as it relates to wearing N95 masks in all visitors signages up. So in order to remind them to wear their masks as well, we are not restricting visitation, but we will be working hard to make sure that they're abiding by helping prevent the spread of more infection in the facility. And with that, that's my report.
Thank you, Kim. Does anybody have any questions for Kim?
Excuse me. Something you said, Kim, triggered something that I should have probably asked the other Kim McDowell. But in terms of infections, I heard, listen to NPR in the morning, and they were talking about a new Omicron variant that's presenting and becoming more apparent on the East Coast. And it is resulting in more hospitalizations. I don't think deaths yet, or at least not significantly, but are we getting information about that out here? Do we know anything about it? And a lot of people didn't get the latest, the monovalent shot. And I'm wondering if that is effective to immunize against this particular variant. What do we know about it? Can we take steps to prevent people getting it here before it works its way west?
So Kim, I can have you take a shot at that, or we have 3 physicians in the room here to help us as well.
From what I've read, and my colleagues can chime in sometime, is that the most recent vaccine actually covers that subset. And so as long as people are vaccinated. And so, yeah, Nick, if I may ask, have you seen much in the way of new COVIDs in the ER?
Through the chair. I haven't seen a significant uptick in COVIDs in the ER, and the ones that I have seen have been pretty mild cases. I haven't seen any severe hospitalizations due to COVID since over a year. I think the recent CDC report came out that there's actually more vaccinations for the recent COVID than there are influenza this year, and so they're doing a big push to get everyone flu vaccinated because the mortality and morbidity of both of those, not the most recent one, the Omicron, is about the same. So really, for overall public health, we need to just be pushing vaccines for both flu and COVID and RSV for especially pregnant moms and babies.
Older adults.
We're not seeing a significant increase in COVID or even flu in the schools either. So, yeah, so we'll see what happens afterward.
All right.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Kim. So Mr. Palmer's not here to give us, what's that? He's not here. So we're just gonna move on for a minute, and if he comes on here, we can go back to him. And if he doesn't come back to him, I don't know if Ian wants to say, I don't even know if you have anything you want to report.
You know, in terms of the legal services. Yeah, as you know, we're going out for an RFP to broaden our legal services, not specifically for healthcare. And I've been working with Rob. He's been very, very responsive in terms of getting an RFP developed. In fact, I was just on the telephone with him at 3:30 about that. And so he's already, his goal is to have the RFP finished and out by Friday. And we went through a number of the firms. There may be more, but we had at least identified 3, maybe 4 firms. And that RFP is asking for qualifications, the hours, what their rate is, as well as and all of those will be weighted. And then we'll have a committee that will sit there and get presentations and make a decision on that. He was hopeful that it could be done by January. I just don't know if they can respond that quickly in terms of getting an RFP during the holidays. But I'm very hopeful that at least by February, we could have someone identified and on board. And then Barbara Knoll, her firm, they will, their services are ending January 31st, but she said that she will stay on to help if it takes another month or 2 later. So hopefully we'll transition that quickly.
Thank you.
Well, in the last meeting and many other meetings, we've talked about needing legal advice on how to proceed with respect to competitors who are using federal money to take over business from private entities and so on and so forth. Has that been part of the conversation or?
It's been very much so. And again, what Rob has done is the first thing is he wanted us to understand what has gone before us in terms of legal opinions and other regulations. So he just sent me today, or maybe it was yesterday evening, a whole set of information that we then I need to digest and then get the appropriate leaders on the board to help digest and meet with them about how we want to move forward. Second of all, part of the legal services that we'd be requesting would be services from that firm that could do special projects for us, not just basic legal work on that. And so we are moving pretty rapidly, but it's syncing up with that.
If I could follow up, there's so many dimensions to this legal advice to this board. I mean, there's just how to run the meetings in compliance with the Open Meetings Act, and then there's, advice on very specialized statutes and so forth. So, yeah, I can see that that's going to be hard to get right, to figure out which firm is the right firm for this task.
Right. Well, the city will still be very much involved, and they can give us some direction. We're also have asked our staff to brush up on our understanding of the Open Meetings Act as well as Robert Rules of Order. That's one thing. Second thing is that we need to be mindful that we don't inadvertently violate those rules. We're going to live by that. So Rob can give us direction on that, what we have to do to comply with the city. The stuff related to federal and reimbursement and healthcare, we just need that outside counsel to help us. So I think we're going to have a two-pronged approach. The city, as well as this other law firm that has, most of these large national law firms have a real breadth of services that I don't think that we had available to us prior. So I'm very hopeful that we can get a very broad, specific law firm that deals with healthcare issues only. And that's at the federal and the state levels. Those are where we need it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right. More questions about that. We're going to go on to our foundation report from Maria. Hi, Maria.
Hi. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm happy to report that we had the holiday event last night for Bartlett Hospital and Wildflower Court. It was well attended. It included a concert with Vox Borealis. That was really nice. I want to thank everyone who helped put that on, and the facilities team was amazing. We're very thankful. 81 children came to see Santa, and Nate Rumsey did a fantastic job. I know that I was personally walking with him through Wildflower Court, and Santa brought a lot of joy to some of those residents. It was very heartwarming, and it made it worth it. So it was a long day, but it was very, very nice. So thank you for that. Our next event is going to be the AHA Awards Celebration event. That's going to be at the Yacht Club on January 6th. And I want to thank Gemma and Search, their sponsors, along with the Bartlett Foundation, for that event. That evening, it's at 5 o'clock, and it's just going to be something to recognize these prestigious awards received by members of the MBB team and Dr. Peterson. So I hope to have everyone there join us on a very fun night coming up. I'd like to report that the gift from the Heart Payroll Deduction Campaign, it's ongoing. Continues to be steady with 32 out of 600 employees contributing to payroll deductions, receiving about $750 per pay period. And donations have picked up in November, December timeframe. The foundation runs on a calendar year, not a fiscal year. So we close our year out December 31st, and that's when a lot of the donations pick up. And we've seen a little bit of uptick, but we are to date 6% below where we were at this time last year. So hopefully things will be nice. We'll get something going the last few days of the year. I do want to thank on that spirit of giving, a personal contribution from Mr. Ian Wharton to the foundation to be applied in areas of staff development. That was very generous and we appreciate it very much. So thank you for that. And I had in my report that we were fully staffed, but as of a couple of days ago, that's not so anymore. So it's still down to me and part-time, and that's right, gift shop attendant. So if you know anybody who would like to work at a very fun place with a very fun person, give me a call. So that's where it's happening. So last month, the foundation held its annual meeting and reappointed directors, and one new director, Lorraine Durr, to let you know, is coming on the board starting January. And the officers were reappointed to their position, so it'll be the same officer corps that was last year. And fun stuff, they commissioned the mural at the Aurora Behavioral Health Center down in the crisis area for adults. If you haven't had the opportunity to see it, it's amazing. That doesn't do it justice. And it's the same artist that did the painting for the donor recognition wall. And we're going to be, we own the image, so we're going to be using images and promotional materials. So pretty excited about that. And that's all I have, if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Do you have a question? You may or may not know that I'm also a certified public accountant. So I'm going to give you some tax advice. If you're in the process of looking at your tax liabilities to the federal government, one way to reduce that is to provide a generous gift to our foundation. So think of it not as the CEO asking, but as a CPA giving you good tax advice.
Very good advice, thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Does anybody else have any questions or for Maria? So we're on time. We're just going to keep going for a minute here. Wade Bryson, our CBJ liaison, is not here. He texted me, wanted to tell everybody sorry he'll be here next month. Wanted to wish everybody happy holidays and thank everybody for being here today. My president's report. I have a couple of things that I want to talk about. First of all, Dr. Rosenfeld. Nick, you know, it's been great working with you. I wrote some stuff down. I'm really much better speaking off the cuff than I am writing, but I did write this, so I'm going to attempt to read this to you. I had Aaron and you look over this, so hopefully my capitalizations are all good and everything is good. But Dr. Rosenfeld, on behalf of Bartlett Regional Hospital Board of Directors, I wish to express our utmost gratitude and admiration for your exceptional contribution and unwavering commitment as the Chief of Staff in 2023. Your dedication and tireless effort in refining the hospital bylaws has been instrumental in streamlining our operations and enhancing patient care. Your meticulous attention to detail and your thorough understanding of the healthcare landscape has significantly contributed to the improvement of our protocols and procedures, ensuring the highest standard of quality and safety for our patients. Moreover, at this time I wanted to stop and talk about it. Moreover, your head can still fit through the ED door. when I get done here, it might not.
Be careful, he has to work.
Are you working tonight? Moreover, your vibrant energy and enthusiasm has been truly inspiring. Your leadership style, characterized by your perfect blend of professionalism and passion, has created a dynamic, motivating work environment for our staff. Your ability to motivate and empower those around you have been invaluable in fostering a culture of excellence and collaborating within the organization. Your visionary leadership, and this is so true because I met with Dr. Rosenfeld before this before he took over as the chief of staff. So he really had a vision on what he wanted to do. So your visionary leadership, coupled with your exceptional work ethic, has undoubtedly elevated the standard of care at Bartlett Regional Hospital. Your visionary approach to healthcare and administration and ability to navigate complex challenges with poise and integrity have left an indelible mark on our organization. It is with immense gratitude that I extend our appreciation for your outstanding contributions as the Chief of Staff. Your dedication, expertise, and continuous enthusiasm have been a driving force behind our continued success, and I'm truly honored to have had the privilege to work alongside you, such an exceptional leader. In recognition of your service, a leaf will be made in your honor and placed on the Bartlett Regional Hospital Foundation giving tree. And with deepest appreciation to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So I have a copy for you.
And like a maple leaf.
We don't have the leaf quite yet, but thank you very much. Appreciate it. Plus, he's a really good cook too. So thank you. So, one more person here we're going to talk about is Brenda, and Brenda's been on the board for 9 years, and I'm going to read what I wrote to you too. It's a little bit long, but I really want to say that. I want to say that when I wanted to be on a board for Juneau to give back to our community, there was some boards I was looking at, and Brenda at the time was the president of this board, and they were reappointing people, and I was going up there to have my interview, and Brenda was up there, and she was having her interview for her reappointment at that particular time too, and I was really nervous, I had no clue, and Brenda was like so calm and so nice and so thoughtful as she talked to me, and I didn't get it, but during the course of that year, Brenda met with me several times and had coffee with me and talked with me. She truly, for me personally, has been a mentor beyond belief. I appreciate her so much more than I could probably express in the words, but I did try. I am going to try to read this again too. So, dear Brenda, and again to Anita and Aaron, kind of help, my vocabulary.
Make sure your caps are.
Yeah. As I reflect on your tenure as a board member, I am filled with gratitude and admiration. It is with immense appreciation and respect that I write this letter to you on behalf of the Bartlett Regional Hospital Board of Directors and the community of Juneau. It feels both extraordinary and bittersweet to bid farewell to someone who has dedicated 9 impactful years to this board. Your tenure marked an unparalleled commitment and unwavering dedication has left an indelible mark on our institution and our community. Your leadership has been a guiding beacon for all of us. Your wisdom, acumen, tireless efforts have not only shaped policies, but has also influenced lives. You have been a mentor in every sense, offering guidance, wisdom, support that transcend more than just governance. Your empathy and understanding have touched many hearts and fostered a culture of compassion and excellence within our board. Your selflessness, I'm not trying to make your head spin into nicks, I swear. Your selflessness and the countless hours you've devoted to serving the citizens of Juneau have not gone unnoticed. Your commitment to the betterment of our community has set high standards. Your impact on the board will be felt for years to come, resonating through the lives of those you have touched and the improvements you have initiated. Your departure makes an end to an incredible chapter. Your contributions will continue to inspire and remind us of the dedication and passion required to effect positive change. As I express my deepest gratitude for your exceptional service, mentorship, and dedication, I also extend my warmest wishes for your future endeavors. May the same guiding light that you have been bestowed on us continue to illuminate your path forward. In recognition for your service, you're going to get a leaf just like Nick on the Bartlett Hospital Foundation Giving Tree. Thank you from the depths of our hearts for being an exemplary leader, mentor, and champion for the citizens of Juneau. With deepest appreciation, me to you and the board. With that, also too, we did get you another gift here too.
My goodness. It's not even Christmas today. Oh my goodness. Gosh, well, it's a beautiful crystal vase, and I won't pull everything out. Oh, thank you. It's got, it says Bartlett Regional Hospital in sincere appreciation for your 9 years of outstanding dedication and service on the board of directors, and has my name. Thank you so much. And it's got leaves on it, I suppose, like the leaves.
Like the leaves.
Thank you. All right. Well, thank you. I'll just say a couple of words, I guess. As I was getting ready to retire from paid employment, I had dinner with someone that I knew who was retiring ahead of me. I retired from the state, of course. Well, I shouldn't say of course. I've had a lengthy career, and only 16 and a half of them were with the state on 3 different occasions. I spent a lot of my time in nonprofits, tribal organizations, University of Alaska at one point, so on and so forth. But this person said to me, and I've mentioned this to a couple of you, your life can be divided into roughly 3 segments. The first is learning, the second is earning, and the third is returning. And, obviously there's overlaps and so forth. And as I moved into retirement so that I wouldn't be wheeled up the ramp onto the cruise ship, and I did go on a cruise after I left and had a wonderful time in the Mediterranean for a couple of weeks. I certainly didn't want to just sit at home and do whatever people do when they retire and watch daytime TV or something. And I wanted to get involved with the community. I've served on a lot of boards, as most of us have, but nonprofit boards and so forth. But I wanted a meaningful experience where I could do something for the community, because although I've served in a lot of ways, I've not been on a meaningful committee, one like the board, the hospital board. So I put in my application and got it. And, I guess I don't feel a need to be thanked. I know when I've worked hard, and I know when I could have worked harder. But I'm a very active member in the community of Juneau. This is my home, and I intend to remain active doing things. And it's my privilege to have had the opportunity to serve on the Bartlett board and to do what I could do to help with policy development and oversight and trying to give guidance in crisis. And I would say of the 9 years, most of them have been really rewarding years. The last 3 have been challenging. And COVID certainly it turned everything upside down, although Bartlett was very well positioned to get through COVID. And we did get through COVID. We were very fortunate that our community did not get slammed the way many did. But had we gotten slammed harder, we had retained extra staff, which was part of the problem when it came time to kind of downsize from that. we had the staff, we had the ability, the resources to set up even a field hospital if we had to, and so forth. I do hope that the hospital has learned its lesson, though, to be prepared. These infections and viruses, whatever, are going around still. And we never know when there's going to be another emergency where we need to be ready. Being an isolated community with problems getting additional supplies, we know we have to keep inventories that are larger than the average hospital outside would, and so forth. Just keep that in mind. Learn well, those of you that went through this here, the lessons that we should have retained. And be kind to each other. And remember, if you aren't well, you can't help patients, and we're here for the patients. So that's really what it's all about. And I do wish you all well. The one thing I would like to see this board move forward with is not relax on making some decisions about affiliations unless we get involved and affiliated in a cooperative manner with another organization that's larger and has resources it can bring to bear. And it has to be something that we would give a worth to them, obviously. Unless we do that, I think we're not going to fare well, because the competition is stiff and we need resources that we don't have locally. We need ones we can tap into. So that we've been talking about some kind of affiliation for almost 4 years now. So I do hope, Mr. President, you can move forward with that. And with the help of a very good CEO, our interim CEO is par excellence. And I think I'm convinced this hospital is in very good hands with Ian Worden at the helm for now. And I do hope you can be with us until we have a permanent person. Permanent is kind of hard to use, but hopefully permanent person in there. So thank you. Good luck. And anyone ever has questions, and good luck to my successor. You look familiar. I don't know. I think we've met somewhere, but
we know each other, but I'm not sure.
We'll have to talk separately, but I know I saw, oh, that's who you are, but I can't recall where I've known you from. Thank you.
Thank you again, Brenda. So this is the end of our year. So our end of our year comes our elections of officers. I'm going to turn this part of the meeting for the election of president over to our vice president.
Okay, bang that. At this point, we would entertain nominations for the position of president of the board of the Bartlett Regional Hospital. Lisa?
I'd like to nominate Kenny. Again, I realize that he's been in the role for some time, a couple of terms. I've been impressed with how Kenny is able to bring different people together. And I think that he has a great deal of knowledge and brings a great deal of strength to the position.
Are there any other nominations? Seeing none. All those in favor, actually, should we do a roll call vote or
whatever you want to do? It's fine.
I'm sure, should we have a brief discussion? People
We should.
say what they want.
Annie, do you want to?
Sure. So first of all, I appreciate everybody's confidence in me. I know that, as Brenda said, the last 3 years have been more than challenging, and they've been different. It's a different environment here at Bartlett than it ever has been here in the past. This next year, we're going to go through getting another CEO, and we're going to have some other changes here. I plan on, if I do get elected, we'll have some goals laid out on where we're going to try to be by the end of 2024. This is going to be my last term for sure. I don't take this lightly. I appreciate your confidence and like Brenda said too, the love of our city in Juneau. That's kind of where my head's at, and it's an honor to serve this hospital board, and I truly mean that. And again, just getting reappointed. As years go on this board, I plan on doing whatever I can to foster a good board and good governance for our board.
Any board questions or comments?
Well, I guess I would just, we've said this in previous meetings, I think it's a bad thing for a board to have the same person in these leadership positions year after year after year. So I would have been happy to see us rotate people through, and I think I'd be even happier to see that we honor the past president's position. That said, I understand why continuity right now is a good thing. And I've been very pleased with Kenny's leadership, and I'm going to support voting for him for one more year. But I would like to see us try to develop more talent I would like to see us rotate people through, just as a matter of principle.
Any other comments? Would anyone like to make a motion? If hearing no more comments regarding, we have a
motion.
You actually moved, I thought you nominated.
I did, so I'm sorry. I move the Bartlett Regional Hospital Board of Directors elect Kenny Solomon Gross as president to serve from December 20th, 2023 to December 2024 Board of Directors meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any exceptions? Hearing none, Kenny, you can have this back.
Thank you, Madam Vice President. I will open the floor up to nominations for Vice President. Anybody like to make a nomination?
Mr. Chairman, I'd nominate Deb Johnston again. I think she's done a good job, and I'd like to see her move into even more senior positions at a bigger time.
Dan, do you want to make any comments?
Thank you, Hal. I guess the only thing I would say that this position has been very rewarding for me. My focus on this board has been to forward the needs of not only the board, but the community as well. And I really appreciate, I came to Juneau in 2018, got on the board in 2019, and I appreciate those who have been on the board and on the staff who have welcomed me into Juneau. This was really how I got to know the folks in Juneau, and the more I got to know, the more dedicated I became to this hospital, its issues, and value to the community. Thanks.
Well, for me, working with Deb this last year as the vice president is great. I look forward to working with her again this next year. She's great knowledge and resource, and I feel very comfortable talking with her about any type of hospital subjects that we have.
Mr. Chair, I move that we close the nomination.
So do we have a second on that?
I second that.
Second. Okay, any objections? Seeing no objections, Madam Vice President, congratulations. All right, and now we will open up the election or the office for secretary. Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I move that we appoint Shelley Deering as our secretary for the upcoming year. Shelley has proven herself to be dedicated and knowledgeable about the issues, and I would look forward to her growing in a leadership role here with the board.
Thank you.
Well, I was very excited to get on the board to begin with and to be able to be involved in keeping a community hospital here in Juneau, Alaska. So I would look forward to working as secretary and providing more to the board and the community.
All right. So I'm gonna make a motion.
I think I did present it in motion form.
She said it, she did.
Okay, great. So Bartlett Regional Hospital Board of Directors, elects Shelley Daring as secretary to serve from December 2023 to December 2024, Board of Directors meeting. Seeing no objections. Did you want to make a comment? I'm sorry.
Oh, never mind.
Seeing no objections, congratulations, Shelley.
Thank you.
All right. Hey. We're gonna take a quick break before we go to the calendar, but just one other thing that I do want to address that we didn't address is that Deb and I are going to be working on with putting together a committee, and Deb will probably be chairing it. I believe she's agreed to do this for our new CEO search. Ian is really going to be instrumental in helping us with this. We met a little bit about this today, and we'll be excited to share more with the board in the coming weeks to come. With that, let's take a 10-minute break. All right.
What do you do with all this time?
Okay, so we're going to go, we're going to pop open our calendar. So credentialing for me is good on Tuesday the 2nd. Planning is good for you on the 5th?
It is.
That's good. Max isn't here, so we're going to assume finance is good. And our regular board meeting is going to be on the 23rd. So
I will be here on the 23rd. Traditionally, I take the last 2 weeks in January to make the winters more tolerable for my wife.
Awesome. Awesome. Great. Okay. So if there's any committee meetings or anything like that that we're going to need to add on during the month of January, we'll just have you work through Anita, and we'll send out straw polls if we need to do that. I'll get with all the board members in the next week or so to work on new committees. I know that people are excited about having some changes in the committee, so we'll work on doing that too in the next week or so. So make a motion to accept the calendar as it is.
Move to accept.
Okay. Seeing no objections, the calendar is accepted. With that, any board comments or questions? Okay, we've got no comments or questions. And next is we're going to go into executive session. So Hal, you want to take us into executive session?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I move that we go into recess into executive session to discuss several matters, including those which by law, municipal charter, or ordinance are required to be confidential or involve consideration of records that are not subject to public disclosure, specifically the credentialing report, the medical staff, meeting minutes, and patient safety report, and possibly to discuss LPRH litigation, specifically a candidate discussion of tax and litigation strategies with the Bartlett Hospital Municipal. And I ask that you select certain staff to remain.
Okay, thank you. So all the senior leaders are welcome to stay, and everybody else will help them step out, and we'll put everybody else into a waiting room. And with the board's permission, are you guys okay with having Anita stay? Yeah, I'm sorry.
For recording.
Oh, yeah, we'll take the recording.
Anita, to tell me when.
Okay.
All right. Mr. Chairman, I would move that we accept the credentialing.
I'll second that.
All right, seeing no objections, the credentialing report is accepted as presented. With that, we have come to the end of our agenda tonight. Everybody have happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. Fly safe. If anybody's traveling, be safe. We are
John, you got some tonsils this week?
I did. Yeah, already? I did 9.